Hey guys, welcome to week 6 of Afternoon Adventures. We have some incredible adventures in store for you again this week. This week's sponsor are my friends over at No H2O On Demand. Their convenient and waterless system means your car can be washed or detailed anywhere, anytime they come to you. They also offer sanitation packages. Check them out at noh2o.com or on the App Store to book your appointment. Okay, it's time for another adventure.
Hi guys, my name is Erin Stutts, and I am a teacher at College Station High School, where I have the best job in the whole wide world, and I teach students all about food. And I teach a variety of classes about foods, and one of my favorite classes is a class where I teach about nutrition. And in that class, we make a really quick, easy recipe, and that's what I'm going to make for you guys today. So it has 4 ingredients. So we're going to start off with ground beef. And so this is some ground beef that I have thawed in, it was in my freezer. I thawed it in the microwave on the defrost setting. We're also going to be using a can of biscuits. These are from my local H-E-B grocery store. There's 10 biscuits in this can. There's a couple of different varieties of it. I just happen to buy the butter flavored. It doesn't really matter which ones you get. I have about 3/4 cup or so of shredded cheese. Typically I use cheddar cheese. This is a Mexican blend because it's what I had at home or in my refrigerator. And then I've got some barbecue sauce. So those are the 4 ingredients. I need to go ahead and get this ground beef cooking. So I've had the skillet, getting warm. And so now we're going to brown the ground beef. So do you have a pan like this at home? This pan has a non-stick surface. So something that's really important about a non-stick surface is that you want to use either a wooden utensil or a utensil like this that's a silicone. You don't want to use metal in a non-stick surface because it will scratch that surface of your pan. And so I'm just going to use this wooden spoon, and I'm going to break up that ground beef as it cooks and stir it around and flip it over and just let it cook. Now some people will add some diced onions to this or maybe a little bit of garlic. Today I'm not doing that, just cooking the plain ground beef. I'm not even adding any salt or pepper to it because we're going to put some barbecue sauce in it in a little bit. So while that cooks, I'm going to go ahead and get my biscuits ready. My son Garrett is filming, so if he's not showing things well, that's because Garrett's behind the camera. So since I was touching the ground beef, I'm going to wash my hands. Garrett, you can back up a little bit, please. When you wash your hands, you want the water temperature to be about 100 degrees. Seems like it's really hot, but it's about the temperature that you would take a nice hot bath or shower. And you want to use a paper towel to turn off your water after you've dried your hands. It's the safest way to go about it. Okay, let's come back over here. Let's give my ground beef a stir. It's looking good. Garrett, you can back up just a little bit. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to use the biscuits. Have you ever opened, back up just a little bit more. Have you ever opened a can of biscuits? Because it's kind of a fun thing to do. And what you're going to do is find the edge where it shows you how to open it, and you peel it back to expose this seam. Okay, and if you can, Garrett, can you see that? Where it says press spoon at seam, twist can to open. Now I've seen some of my students will bang it on the counter. I think that's kind of crazy. I take my thumbs and I put them right there at that seam, and boom, it pops open. So what we're going to do is take these biscuits and smush them. It's not a very technical kitchen term, but that's what we're doing. And so I'm just smushing them into a flatter circle. And then I'm going to put them into this muffin pan. Now, this muffin pan is non-stick, and I don't need to spray it, and I don't need any muffin liner or anything. Reminds me, also need to preheat my oven. And I'm going to preheat it to 375. Okay, and while that meat is still cooking, I'm going to continue to smush out my biscuits and press it into the pan. Now, I've never tried this with homemade biscuits. I make homemade biscuits, but I've never used it in this recipe. I think part of the goal with this recipe is something that's quick and easy. And so to make them with homemade biscuits just would be a little more difficult than what I want. Something interesting that I have tried with this is making them like small little bite-sized biscuits or barbecue cups to take to a party. Let me show you what I mean. With a mini muffin pan like this one, you can take the biscuit and cut it into halves or fourths and spread it out and smush it into there. And then you can make about 40 bite-size biscuits, barbecue cups. Sometimes they stick a little bit together. Just peel it apart. Smush it out into a circle and press it into the pan. Now sometimes these biscuits will shrink up a little bit while they're sitting, while they're waiting. So right before I pour in the mixture, I'll usually go back and make sure that they're still smushed, because you want it pretty thin. You've got one more to do. So you end up with 10, because there's 10 biscuits in that pan, which is, you end up with 2 empty holes. Here, come this way, please. Okay, so my ground beef, I still see a little bit of pink. Okay, so I want to keep stirring that, cook it just a little bit longer. Do you know what the temperature is that beef should be cooked to? Take a guess. Garrett, do you know? What's your guess, Garrett?
Yes.
It is 160 degrees. Now, I'm not going to get out a thermometer and test that, because there's not really a way to put a thermometer into this. And I'm going to go by the color of it, which if it was a steak or it was a hamburger, I would want to use my thermometer. But since it's just ground beef, I'm not. And notice that I've got it broken up really finely. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is drain that fat off. So what I have is a colander that I have set into a bowl, and I'm going to turn off the burner, and I'm going to pour that ground beef into this colander. Okay, and I'm going to let the fat drain out. Now, something really interesting that you can do with ground beef is, at this point, you could even run hot water over it to rinse off even more of that fat. My husband bought this ground beef. I'm going to guess it was probably 80-20 ground beef, which means it's 80% lean meat and about 20% fat. I don't know, there's not a whole lot of fat coming off of this one. It might have been 90-10. What you really need to know about the fat is that you can't put it down your sink, because fat at room temperature is solid, right? So what would happen if we put this down our pipes, right? It would get solid and then it would clog the pipes, and that would be really terrible. So I'm going to leave it in this bowl until it hardens, and then I'm going to take a paper towel and scoop it out and throw it away in my trash can. So in the meantime, I'm going to put that ground beef back into my skillet. I've turned the temperature off, but that pan is still hot. I want to make sure I have my pan handle around the back side. And then I'm going to measure my barbecue sauce. So let's talk about a couple of different options that I have here. Let me set this over here, Garrett. So one option is this Sweet Baby Ray's. And I have learned that my students really like this. But if I turn it around and I look at the nutrition facts, can you zoom in a little bit? Is it still focused? So it tells me that there are 14 grams of sugar in one serving in 2 tablespoons of this. And also that the first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. And so I know that this is not something that's very healthy for me. So I also have this one at home. This is a Southside Market Texas Bold. It's my favorite barbecue sauce. And if I look at it, what are you doing? It's probably can't see it if you zoom in. It's 6 grams of sugar in 2 tablespoons. So less than half the amount of sugar. So that's going to be better for our bodies. And so that's what I'm going to use for this. Okay, I'm going to measure out a half a cup. Now, I could use a dry measuring cup for this, or I suppose I could use a liquid measuring cup, but I have this handy dandy measuring thing, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to fill it up to about a half a cup. If I measured a little more, that would be okay. And I like this one because then I can just make sure I get all of that barbecue sauce out. And I'm going to stir that around. And I'm going to check it and decide if I need any more barbecue sauce or if this was enough. I'll put the lid back on this one, and I'll put that back in the fridge in just a minute. And when I look at it, I think that was probably enough. I think I got something on my burner. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that up. Garrett, keep the camera focused on that. So the next thing that I need to do is scoop the meat into these biscuits. So I'm going to do that with a spoon. I'm using a big spoon that I have. So again, I'm going to go back through and just smush them back up one more time. Okay, and then I'm going to get a big spoonful and put it in. Now I've made this recipe a dozen times or more, and I know that this entire pound of ground beef will fit in my muffin cups. So I need to pack it in there pretty tightly. So I put it in, and then I pack it. Now, what if you don't like barbecue? Maybe one of Garrett's favorite things is pizza, and you could make this pizza flavored. What kind of sauce do you think you would use instead of barbecue sauce to make it a pizza flavored? Garrett, what do you think?
Ragu spaghetti sauce.
Ragu spaghetti sauce would be a great idea. Or any kind of marinara sauce or pasta sauce would be great for making it spaghetti flavored or pasta flavored. What if you wanted it taco flavored instead of barbecue? Garrett, any idea?
No.
What I would do is put in some taco seasoning, you know, like a packet of taco seasoning, like if you were making tacos, and maybe add in a little bit, because you need some moisture in it, and so I would add some salsa, maybe half a cup of salsa, and a packet of, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish scooping some of these. I'm going to have to kind of overfill a little bit. I said it fits. Maybe I'm going to have a little bit extra today. I'm pretty determined to get it all in those cups though. So ground beef, really great source of protein. Why do you think your body needs protein? Every cell in your body needs protein. So your body rebuilds cells, you get strong muscles, you need that protein to grow. And so beef is a really great source of protein. It's high in zinc, it's high in iron. So especially a lean beef, like a lean ground beef with the fat drained off of it, it fits great in a healthy diet. So now I'm putting a little bit of cheese on top of these. I'm not really measuring this exactly, just putting a scoop on top of each one. That cheese is going to melt and the biscuits are going to bake up. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so I do want to go ahead and get off these extra little cheese bits so they don't burn in the oven. And then I'm going to put it in the oven. It's going to take about 10 minutes to bake. My oven is just about preheated. So let me go ahead and put that in the oven. And I'm putting it right in the center of my oven. And let me set a timer for 10 minutes. And then I'll take a look at it. I also want to make sure I have a hot pad handy to get that back out of the oven. Garrett's eating the extra cheese. Garrett, stop eating the cheese. And I'll put this aside to wash it in just a minute. So while that bakes, let me talk to you a little bit about nutrition. So have you ever seen a plate like this before? So this is what's called My Plate, and you can learn more about it if you go to choosemyplate.gov. But the idea behind it is, if we eat like this, then we're gonna eat really healthy. So 1/4, I've divided it into quarters. 1/4 is fruit. What's your favorite fruit? Garrett, what's your favorite fruit?
Yes.
Name a fruit, please.
Banana.
Bananas, okay? 1/4 of your plate should be vegetable. I really like zucchini. I like sauteed zucchini. It's probably my favorite. Garrett likes asparagus. Okay, 1/4 of your plate is protein. So protein like ground beef or grilled chicken or a steak or a protein like beans. And then 1/4 of your plate, grain. Then you need a serving of dairy on the side. So if you eat like this every meal, you're gonna get the vitamins and the minerals that you need and have a good calorie amount to grow a strong, healthy body. So I have in my meal protein, that's the ground beef. I have in my meal a grain, that's the biscuit. So the biscuit's made from flour, which is ground from wheat, so that's my grain. Garrett, can you think of another grain? Rice is a grain. What, oats, like oatmeal? Yes. I've made some sourdough bread lately. Garrett's been eating that. That's made with wheat. That's a grain. So dairy, my dairy today is the cheese that's on that. Dairy could be your milk. It could be maybe a 1/2 cup of ice cream or something like that with your meal. So I need a fruit and a vegetable to go with my meal. So my vegetable today, I'm going to make a salad. This is one of these chopped salad kits. That beeping was my oven telling me it's ready. So I've gotten to really like these little salad kits because they are so easy and they're really pretty delicious. So all you do is put it in the bowl, and then it comes with a packet of toppings and other things to go with it. I don't love all the trash that it makes, but I do like the salad itself. So this particular one has some almonds in it. Almonds are a great source of fat, of some good healthy fats, and some protein, and it has some tortilla strips on it. And then we're going to open this dressing. Now, I want to show you something that I like to do when I serve these salads, is I like to use a spaghetti tool to serve that. Keep it focused there, Garrett. Let me grab my spaghetti tool over here. I think I used it the other night, and it's in the dishwasher. So give it a rinse off. Okay, so I really like using this tool to toss and to serve because it's real easy to grab the salad with it. So I've never really liked salad tongs or spoons or anything. This was my preferred one. So I'm going to toss that salad around, and that will be my vegetable. Now I need to get some fruit ready to go so that my meal meets my plate. Garrett, would you prefer an apple or would you prefer oranges? Not the lemon. That would be a weird side dish. You want the apples?
Yes.
Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to do the apples. First of all, I'm going to wash it. Go that way with the camera, please. You can show the scene. Okay, and then I'm going to take a cutting board and an apple slicer. Take the sticker off. Sometimes I forget to do that part. I know some little kids who like stickers on their hands after they eat the apple. So I'm going to slice it like that, and then I get my slices. Now, have you ever seen how apples turn brown? So let me give you a little hint to keep your apple slices from turning brown. You want to get a bowl. I'm going to use just this glass bowl. You put some water in it. And I'm actually going to cut up one of these lemons. I'm gonna roll that lemon to make sure I get as much juice as possible. Okay, and I'm gonna cut that lemon. I'm gonna use a lemon juicer to squeeze it. And when I do that, and I don't even care that I got some of the seeds in there because we're not going to be eating that. Okay, that's going to put enough acid in that water that these apples won't turn brown. So while I cut these, I'm just gonna let them soak in that lemon water until we're ready to eat. Now, I should have shown you that to wash the lemon before you cut it. I've actually washed all of these vegetables and fruits when I get them home from the grocery store. So let me go ahead and do a second apple. Sometimes it's a little tricky, so you might need a grown-up to help with that. Oh, forgot to take the sticker off. So keep that in my lemon water so they don't turn brown. Okay, Garrett, let's check the oven. Let's show them what's going on in here. Okay, so it's cooking. The biscuits are baking. They're not quite ready yet. I've got about 3 minutes left on the timer, so I'm gonna keep that oven shut and keep those going. Might need to add a little bit of water here to my lemon water with my apples. I can set this aside to wash here in a minute. Okay, so I'm not gonna actually put the food on this plate that I made for you. I will put... Okay, so the timer just went off and we are ready to take these out of the oven, I think. Let's come over and take a look at them, Garrett. So they're looking pretty good. I like the way the biscuits are nice and golden. So this is where you definitely need an adult to help you. Grab a second hot pad to get these out of the oven. Now this muffin pan is gonna be pretty hot. Have you ever burnt yourself on one of those? So make sure that you don't touch it right away. Okay, let it cool down for just a second, but it doesn't take very long. And to get these out, usually I just grab a spoon. Turn the timer off, thank you, Garrett. Okay, so I'll just grab a spoon to loosen them up and they pop right out. So I'm gonna give everybody 2 of these. So I've got my meat, my protein, I've got my grain, I've got a little bit of dairy. And so also on this plate, I want to give a scoop of salad. Okay, so about a quarter of the plate should be vegetables. So that's what we've got here. And then some apples to be our fruit. Okay, I want to make sure I don't get any of those lemon seeds. Ooh. So about a cup of fruit is our fruit serving. And then here we go. Here is our barbecue cups with fruit and salad. And so I hope that you enjoy that. Let's go back and review. We had 4 ingredients. Okay, our 4 ingredients. We had ground beef, we had barbecue sauce, we had cheese, and then we had the canned biscuits. Okay, so the first step, Garrett, what was the first thing that I did?
Yeah, put the ground beef in the pan.
And I cooked the ground beef. Okay, then I drained the fat off of it, added the barbecue sauce, and then I smushed out the biscuits, put those in the biscuit tin, and then I put that into the muffins, into the biscuit, and topped it with cheese. Baked it for about 10 minutes at 375 degrees. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. It was great to visit with you today. I hope you try to make this. I hope you love it every bit as much as I do. Thank you.